My name's Kyle and welcome to Frame by Frame, a series dedicated to the craft of filmmaking. Today we're going to explore the concept of subjectivity. Now what the hell is subjectivity exactly? Well, in film, it's when a character's state of mind is shown to the audience. So what's that mean? Well, let's say your protagonist feels panicked. If you want to go subjective, you could jump cut the sequence or go handheld, maybe add a high-pitched sound effect that grows louder over time. Anything to instill that same feeling of unease in the audience. The other way is to actually travel inside your character's mind. Think dream sequences or hallucinations. And when subjectivity is done right, it can make for an extremely immersive experience. Now I know you'll want examples, so I thought, what would be an interesting mindset to showcase? Love? Overdone. Sorrow? Boring. Drug-fueled mania? Yeah, that'll work. So recline that chair and turn up the volume. It's time to get f***ed up. I present Terry Gilliam's 1998 film Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. Johnny Depp plays Raoul Duke, who's the alter ego of Hunter S. Thompson, the author of the book the film's based on. Thompson was an esteemed journalist, a cultural icon, a man whose face screamed pedophile. Anyway, in the film, Duke's sent to Vegas to cover a sporting event, and he does some fine reporting. At least concerning his drug-induced crime spree. In this scene, Duke's relaxing in a lounge. That is, until the drugs take hold.
I was right in the middle of a f***ing reptile zoo. And somebody was giving booze to these goddamn things. It won't be long now before they tear us to shreds.
Now why is this scene subjective? Because we're not just seeing Duke sitting in his chair freaking out. No, instead we're actually witnessing his hallucination. Something that exists literally inside Duke's mind. Doesn't get much more subjective than that. But how does Gilliam accomplish this? What other techniques are at play? Well, let's start with the audio. First, there's narration.
I was right in the middle of a f***ing reptile zoo. And somebody was giving booze to these goddamn things. It won't be long now before they tear us to shreds.
So we can hear the thoughts in this guy's head. That's pretty subjective. His dialogue also shifts between past and present tense, distorting our sense of time, which only reinforces the sense of the surreal here. But let's not forget Dr. Gonzo, played by Benicio del Toro, or the choice words he has for Duke later in the scene. His dialogue's distorted, yes. Partly because Del Toro sounds like he's taken 10 Quaaludes and packed his mouth full of mashed potatoes anytime he talks. But Gonzo's lines are also out of sync with his lip movements. Think that's happening in real life? Nope, that's just more subjectivity. And fun fact, Dr. Gonzo's name is a reference to gonzo journalism, a style of writing Thompson popularized. One that has nothing to do with this brain surgeon. Later in the scene, the music drops out during Duke's final outburst.
Please! Tell me about the f***ing golf shoes!
Now obviously the room wouldn't have gotten that quiet even if Duke had announced a 2-for-1 deal on Depends. But anyways, it's depicted that way to highlight Duke's embarrassment. He feels like his remark was the only thing anyone heard, so that's the reality we're shown. Now let's talk visuals. The hallucinations reveal is accomplished with one dolly move. First frame, or the image the dolly move starts on, is this close-up of Duke. Second frame, or the image we see the next time the camera stopped, is this wide shot of the room. So we're gradually shown the extent of Duke's hallucination. And we're shown it at the exact moment Duke realizes he's high. Think I'm reading too far into this? Well, take a look at this shot. Here, Duke's coming down from his trip. And how's that shown to us? First frame's a close-up.
Jesus God almighty, look at that bunch over there, man. They've spotted us.
That's the press table, man. You're gonna have to sign in for our credentials.
Last frame's a wide shot, again used to reveal a change in Duke's perception. Instead of lizards, now he sees the lounge as any sober person would. So the episode's book ended with the same visual cue, a subtle way to indicate the beginning and end of the hallucination. Now let's talk glass. Gilliam's well known for using wide-angle lenses in his films, and when a lens is wide, it creates a wider perspective, which just means you can see more of what it's pointing at. But when a lens gets really wide, it perceptibly bows the image. Ever seen through a fisheye lens? If you have, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Now, our eyes obviously don't bow imagery to that degree. So when we see subjects photographed with these wide lenses, they look bent, distorted. Now, of course, Gilliam knows that, and he uses the effect to give the film an unreal look. Why? Because the film's about a drug binge. Most of the time, both Duke and Gonza's perceptions are altered, distorted, bent. Check this out too. Gilliam uses Dutch or tilted angles throughout this scene. Now, traditionally, Dutch angles elicit a sense of unease in the viewer. Now, how do you think Duke's feeling right here? Yeah, I'd say he's a little uneasy. So again, shot choice reinforces the character's emotional state.
It won't be long now before they tear us to shreds.
The camera floats here as well, totally handheld, and for the same reason. You ever been super f***ed up? Because you'd know that when you are, motor skills go right out the window. You're perpetually losing your balance, your point of view is constantly in flux, just like it is here. Finally, take a look at the red light on Duke. It's a visual cue used to signify his hallucination. It becomes apparent here, brightens throughout the hallucination, then it fades here completely.
That's the press table, man. You're gonna have to sign in for her credentials.
Which means the light was probably on a dimmer. Now, Gilliam wouldn't go to the trouble of rigging a lighting cue for no reason. Instead, he uses it as a way to illustrate the arc of Duke's hallucination, beginning, middle, and end. So let's recap. What's subjectivity? It's getting to see into a character's mind. Now that can be done by manifesting their thoughts, as we saw in Fear and Loathing, or it can be achieved with techniques geared to convey their state of mind. I mean, think of the examples showcased in that scene alone. Lens choice, composition, lighting cues, camera movement, audio manipulation, editing, each and every one a fantastic tool for creating subjectivity. And once it's achieved, characters become the vehicles which transport us to fascinating new worlds. All we need is the courage to, as Raoul Duke would say,
Get in.
As always, thank you for watching, ladies and gentlemen, and make sure to subscribe to this channel, Film Theory, for more fantastic film-related content. And in the comments below, make sure to let me know any interesting ideas you have for future episodes. You can also click the frame to the left to check out the last episode of Frame by Frame, or click the frame to the right to check out an episode of Film Theory dealing with 50 Shades of Grey. As always, my name is Kyle, and this has been Frame by Frame.